が敵を食らう。
We here at GameRanks love Easter eggs, and apparently, so too does Blizzard, because Overwatch is absolutely overflowing with nods, tip of the hats, and even a few secrets tucked away in the game. Hi everyone, Spidey here, and today I'll be counting down 10 Overwatch secrets and Easter eggs. Let's get this thing started with number 10, and look, here's the thing about a lot of the Easter eggs in Overwatch. A lot of them are in plain sight, and that's definitely the case with the arcade machines found all over the various maps. But if you really look and examine each of these cabinets, you can actually pick out some pretty cool details. First off, we got Super Siege Mode 3, which is not only a reference to StarCraft siege tanks, but also a throwback to the art style of the old Metal Slug games, which the HUD is designed entirely around. Then you have Soulstone Demon Slayer, which takes some of the playable characters from Diablo 3 and places them in a cooperative beat-em-up RPG in the style of the old Dungeons & Dragons arcade game. Next up, there's Fighters of the Storm 1 and 2, which is of course a 2D fighting game that's a reference to Blizzard's crossover MOBA, Heroes of the Storm, and you know, I'm kinda sad that this isn't an actual game that exists because I'd play the hell out of this game. And then there's Vivi's Adventure, which is a 2D platformer that seems to be aesthetically similar to Bonk's Adventure, but honestly I'm not really sure what Blizzard game this is referencing. Yeah, the Overwatch Gamepedia claims that it's possibly a reference to Lili from Warcraft, but I don't know, I don't buy that. And finally, we have The Lost Vikings 6, which is not only a reference to the video game series The Lost Vikings, but also to the Viking aircraft from StarCraft 2. And honestly, if this is the direction that the Lost Vikings series went after The Lost Vikings 2, I'd really want to see Lost Vikings 3, 4, and 5. I mean, that's some crazy progression. Moving on to number 9, but remaining in Hanamura, just outside the attack side spawn, take a look at the mascot above the entrance to the Rikimaru Ramen Shop. Why, that's a Murloc in a spaceship! For those that haven't played the Warcraft games, Murlocs are one of the most iconic Warcraft minor enemies, notable not only for their looks, but the sound they make. And while this Easter egg would be fine if it was just a Murloc in a spaceship, it's made much better when you actually shoot it. Next up at number 8, Futurama has given us a lot over the years. 7 incredible seasons of laughs, tears, and enduring memes that we will probably never see the end of. But one of the most underappreciated things that Futurama has given us is its theme song. And whenever you're playing Attack on Dorado, you can ring the Futurama battle call by shooting the bells above the entrance in this order. Some characters can do this better than others, and typically you'll get people who ruin your musical brilliance, but it always feels good when you're able to begin a match on Dorado with the Futurama theme. In at number 7, Dancing Robots. This is actually an Easter egg that was teased by game director Jeff Kaplan himself. In Volskaya, if you head past the capture point and look off into the distance, you should be able to spot a number of robots just kind of chilling in the background. Now, for almost all of these robots, this is all that they really do. Some of them just kind of walk around, some of them just look endlessly to the left and right, but this one right here, keep an eye on him because every now and then, he likes to break out in a little dance. I highly recommend not doing this while you're actually playing a match. Your team will probably get pretty mad at you. Number 6, the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Just like the actual Hollywood Boulevard, on Overwatch's Hollywood Boulevard in the Hollywood level is a Walk of Fame that has a few notable names on it. We've got Malfi Adams, Olivia Rye, Samuel Drest, and oh, look at that, Baylog Fierce, Olaf Stout, and Eric Swift. They're all missing their middle names, but those are the names of the 3 Vikings in the Lost Vikings video games. Younger or newer Blizzard fans might know them from Heroes of the Storm, and we've actually talked about them in the bit about the arcade machines, but the Lost Vikings were actually part of 2 classic puzzle platformers that allowed players to utilize the unique abilities of all 3 Vikings in order to solve puzzles. The games were fantastic, and honestly, the Vikings are well deserving of their stars. Number 5, this is actually a new Easter egg that was recently added along with the competitive mode. But you know how in the control mode maps like Ilios and Lijiang Tower, there's a basketball hoop and a bunch of balls lying around? Well, if you're actually able to make a basket, you'll now be given a little celebration to let everyone know of your amazing feat, which is awesome because it's really hard to make that shot, and it sucks actually making it and then have everyone not see or care. Number 4, voice references. One of my personal favorite things about StarCraft and Warcraft was continuously clicking on a character to hear extra bits of dialogue that often reference popular movies. While Overwatch doesn't exactly have that, they do have locked vocal lines that are also frequently references to pop culture. Here are a few of my favorites.
I choose you, Spirit Dragon.
I'm not good, not bad, but I sure as hell ain't ugly.
If it lives, I can kill it.
Get off my lawn.
Houston, we have a problem.
I will break you. In Russia, game plays you.
Next up, number 3, Hearthstone tablets. Chalk this up as another Easter egg in plain sight, but it's too cool to not mention. In several different locations throughout Overwatch, there are little tablets that are playing Blizzard's virtual card game, Hearthstone. If you get close enough, you'll even hear that iconic Hearthstone theme. Unfortunately, that's the extent of it, and regardless of which tablet you find, it's always the same game with the same hand, and the game never moves forward. You'd think there would be like a turn timer or something, but I don't know, maybe the mobile version of Hearthstone is glitched or something. Number 2, a tribute to a fallen hero. This is actually another recent Easter egg that has just been added to the game. In Lijiang Tower, on the control center section of the map, you can actually find a spacesuit with the name Hongyu written on it. And above the suit actually reads, and I apologize if I butcher this pronunciation, Lijiang Buzhou, which translates to, Heroes Never Die. The sad story behind this is that a young Overwatch fan named Hongyu Wu tragically lost his life in a heroic effort to curb the attempts of a bike thief. The thief stole a bike from his classmate, and Hongyu got on his bike and pursued him, ultimately colliding with the thief and suffering grave injuries. The police ended up arresting the thief, but Hongyu died in the hospital. Hongyu was a huge Overwatch fan, as evidenced by his excitement in a screen-capped group chat between him and a group of friends, and Blizzard thought that this would be a fitting way to immortalize a hero in a game that's all about being a hero. And finally, number 1, Sombra. For those that don't know, Sombra is the name of a character who exists in Overwatch lore and is very heavily hinted to be the next character that will be made available to play. It's very heavily speculated that Sombra is actually the mother of Pharah, and that she was one of the original founding members of Overwatch. But we're getting ahead of ourselves here. There are actually several Easter eggs in various levels that reference Sombra. Starting off with Dorado, right before the first checkpoint, there's a newspaper on the ground that says "Quien es Sombra," which means "Who is Sombra" in Spanish. Later on Dorado, once you get inside the building, check some of the monitors and you'll see an error message that reads "Protocolo Sombra." And even further in the base, on top of a table, you'll spot several folders. One for Jack Morrison, the real name for Soldier 76, another one for Soldier 76, and then the last one, yep, it's for Sombra. Finally, in the Temple of Anubis map on Attack, check inside the game room area and you'll find a picture of a masked character that could very well be someone else, but I think the chances are fairly good that this is what Sombra will look like if she does become playable. In a GameSpot video called The Fall of Titan, you can actually see this character on the character select screen, so there should be little doubt that this mysterious masked character is on the way. The question is this character Sombra? And is Sombra the code name for Ana Amari, the mother of Pharah, and one of the 6 founding members of Overwatch? Time will surely tell. These 10 Easter eggs only scratch the surface in terms of all the hidden references and Easter eggs in Overwatch, and no doubt there will be even more as time goes on, because this is a game that Blizzard is constantly updating, constantly adding new bits of content to, and if anything, history has shown that Blizzard loves to hide fun little references in every corner that they can.